Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Ducks football.
We got to elevate and make our teaching standards elite.
Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. He's gone. It is picked up. Intercepted. Oregon with the ball.
There can't be any type of fading. It doesn't work that way.
20, 50. He's going to score. 10. Touchdown, Oregon.
We invested a lot of time in that, and we expect that to pay off in a big-time way.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. Now, let's talk Oregon Ducks football. Alongside Mike Jorgensen and Joey Mac, here's the voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen.
Thank you and welcome to a Thursday night show. Giving you an opening to say, no, it's Wednesday night, but you didn't take it.
I didn't want to because I was laughing too hard.
It's one thing these masks do hide, your emotions.
Yeah.
You can be sticking your tongue out at somebody and they wouldn't have a clue.
How many people in the audience have any idea what that joke was about at this
my
point
gosh.
anyway?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. It's a coach's show off a huge victory over Cal last week in an early game, and what a gut-wrenching win at the end, George. I mean, it was like, I almost feel like I used to joke with some of the coaches, say, you planned that, didn't you, to keep everybody from leaving early?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the crowd was there till the bitter end, which was great because they were a huge factor at the end. The sound in that stadium, the way it was, nobody likes to go down to the last play like 2 weeks in a row, be able to do that, Joey, but boy, what a gutty job by this team. They fought through it, and a win is a win, and they got it, and they worked their rear ends off.
It was 2 weeks in a row, but a bye week in between. It seemed like it made it even more stressful, didn't it? Yeah, and what a stand by the Oregon defense. And, look, there were a lot of parallels between the ending of the Stanford game and the ending of the Cal game. Same score, some penalties, defense is on the field with a chance to win it. And the Ducks, with, I think, a little bit more depth on defense and more experience now on defense, they were able to win the game. And look, win's a win. That's what it takes, right?
Different officials, too. I mean, I didn't say anything bad. No.
Guys, I'm telling everybody right now, this is going to be a great show.
You took
Jerry is ready to go tonight.
Great matchup this week. Anthony Brown had a really solid performance last week. I want to talk to the coach about that. And this Duck team just keeps finding a way to win. That's a mark to me of a good team that when push comes to shove, with rare exception, they find a way to win.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about Oregon's defense, first of all, is they don't make it easy for any team to move down the field. Little bits and pieces to get to the end zone, and oftentimes when you go 14, 15 plays, you're going to make a mistake someplace. And offensively, great start to the game, move the ball up and down the field. A little bit of a didn't work so well out in the middle, but at the same time when it came to having to make plays in the fourth quarter as an offense, regardless of individuals, Joey, they made the plays, 2 consecutive drives for a touchdown to be able to regain the lead just when they needed it.
Now, would the Ducks like to be able to play more consistently throughout the game? Absolutely. But Anthony Brown has the best quarterback rating in the fourth quarter in the Pac-12. And coincidentally, actually the second best quarterback rating in the fourth quarter in the Pac-12 belongs to Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who is UCLA's quarterback. So, I don't think it's a surprise, though, to see numbers like that because those are 2 guys that are very experienced, probably the most experienced quarterbacks in the Pac-12. That throw that Anthony Brown made to Jalen Redd was a next-level throw. I thought that was really, really impressive. And, the Ducks made plays when they needed to. And I think that, guys, I know what happened at Stanford and the one loss of the year is going to kind of have that sour taste in everyone's mouth. But the way that the Ducks have finished, particularly offensively, they've done a nice job of finishing. You just hope that, as Coach Cristobal has talked about a lot, the Ducks seem to play their best football when their back's up against the wall. I think that for all of us who don't want to have a bunch of gray hairs, maybe you just like to not be up against that wall as often as they have been.
I'll say this too, and a coach will never use this as an excuse, but the reality is this is a Duck football team that has been so beat up and injured with starters being gone, not just for a game or two, but some of them for the season. It's remarkable that defensively they've been able to pull off what they have been able to do without so many keys in that defense.
Yeah, up until last week anyway. And again, they still have guys that are missing, no doubt about that are key players. But to be able to get guys back like Swenson and Adrian to be able to see bodies on that side of the ball, to be able to keep fresh bodies in there all the time, Joey, I think was a key. And obviously the second half re-entry of Kayvon Thibodeaux and the pressure that was put on Garbers in that second half all game long, but particularly in the second half and when it counted on the last play of the game was a big key.
Yeah, I mean, the Ducks brought pressure when they needed to, I thought. And, look, Kayvon Thibodeaux is a game changer. Tim DeRuyter, Duck defensive coordinator, talked about that this week, that, man, he just changed the game. Cal felt the pressure. I think the defense felt that surge. And, guys, what's amazing, we have not seen Kayvon Thibodeaux in an entire game this year. Whether it be because of injury or because of a targeting penalty, we have not seen Kayvon Thibodeaux for an entire football game this year. Coach Cristobal said on Monday, that he's so excited just to see what Kayvon Thibodeaux does this week, because now shaking off a little more rust, and he's in there for an entire game. And I think that Kayvon Thibodeaux feels that way too. I thought it was interesting, and we're going to hear from him coming up later on in the show. But he was saying, like, he was kind of played like a caged beast in a lot of ways, right? Like, that's how he came out and played. But he actually said that mentally speaking, he was pretty level-headed on the sideline. Like, he knew that he had to kind of contain it. I just thought hearing him talk about that just shows the veteran that he is. But boy, it's nice to have a little more depth on that defense, isn't it?
Depth is so important, especially in the second half. And in that fourth quarter, you'll see that team put up four fingers in the fourth quarter. That's the depth. That's when they really push through it. UCLA's played an extra game. They're 5-2 on the year. They are 3-1 of the South. Oregon at 5-1, 2-1, of course, in the North. And these teams kind of look a lot alike each other. When you look at the stats, guys, they are very, very familiar.
They do. I mean, each position, statistics from a rush offense, about the only one that kind of sticks out is UCLA's rush defense is quite a bit better than anybody else in the league. But total offense, what they give up, what they gain on the ground, through the air, penalties, first downs, third down conversions. I mean, I was just showing Joey, a little bit earlier. You look at Anthony Brown, who's played one less game. He's about 11 or 12 for 15 from having the exact same stats as Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I mean, and because he's played one more game. And the same goes for Charbonnet and Dye from a rushing standpoint. And so a lot of similarities between these two teams, and it's going to be a fun one to watch.
That's what I'm really looking forward to, guys.
All right, let's tell you what. Let's finish talking here. Let's get to a break. Let's come back and talk to the man that knows a whole lot more about it than we do. He is head coach Mario Cristobal. He is next as we come back to the Coaches Show from our Country Financial Studios on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Here's how Duck fans take flight with OCCU. Start with a Lucky Duck savings account. Move up to a Duck debit card with free checking. Then graduate to a Duck credit card. OCCU makes your financial journey easier with fewer fees, higher rates on savings, and lower rates on loans. Discover the OCCU difference at myoccu.org/Go Ducks.
Well, Bob, I don't like Hunger's chances here, not against this feast of an IHOP defensive line.
That's right, Jim. They got pancakes, sausage, bacon, hash browns, and even scrambled eggs.
Heck of a lineup, Bob. They've been slaying Hunger in the backfield this whole season. Makes you wonder how Hunger finds the courage to get back out there.
Empty tummy, 42 pancakes. The blitz is on, and Hunger is demolished once again.
It never stood a chance, Bob.
Tackle your hunger with IHOP's Game Day Family Feasts.
Your home for Ducks football, the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. Jerry Allen Jorge, joined now by head coach Mario Cristobal. It is our Pepsi Coaches Spotlight. Coach, got to be looking forward to another big game. You're 0-0. It's like you haven't played a game yet. I love that approach, but you are realistically 5-1 against a 5-2 UCLA team coming up, and finding a way to win against Cal at home last week was huge.
It was. I think anytime you play in conference, you got to find ways to win. You want to play perfect football. If you find yourself in a situation where you're not playing like that on a consistent basis, you still have to find a way to win. Our guys certainly did that, showed a lot of resiliency, and was able to learn some valuable lessons while still securing a victory. So it's been a really good week of practice. Had an extra day as well to heal up some guys. I feel like on the defensive side of the ball, we are getting a little bit healthier. So all in all, it's been a very positive week.
Came through the game pretty clean, too, it looked like, from an injury standpoint.
Well, I mean, on the outside, it looks a little different than what it is when I walk in there on the next day. But we do feel, particularly on the edges, that we are getting healthier, which allows for more consistency for those guys. And the offensive line, is starting to get healthier as well. We went in their last game without a couple of guys. So looking forward to watching our team just continue to get healthier and get to play some of the guys that have been playing, early in the season for us or heading into camp.
I know everybody's looking for a perfect ball game, but I thought a couple of guys, obviously Travis Dye, but I'm going to talk about Anthony Brown. I mean, so many people are being nitpicky and trying to get him to play the perfect game. I thought against Cal he was critical. 20 of 28. 244 yards, carried for 37 yards, threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown. I mean, he did what he needed to do to get this team to the finish line.
Well, I think that position always brings what it brings, right? It's a spotlight. So we know we could do better at a lot of different positions. And Anthony is a resilient guy who has done some really good things and has done some things that he knows and what he wants to do better. What stands out in a positive way, in a big way, is the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter for him, the fourth quarter for our team in general, that part has been really, really positive. The other stuff are things that we generally work at relentlessly to get better at, and we're seeing the bits and pieces that's bringing it together to allow us to have more productivity. So we live in a world, and we're in a profession where we ourselves have a higher expectation than what the outside has for us, while at the same time making sure that our complete focus is on doing the very best we can by our team, our program, our community. So all in all, just everything is forward thinking and moving.
A couple more questions on the offense, Coach. The offensive line continues to play sometimes with a limited amount of people, whether it's Forsyth being out the last two games, Stanford and Cal, or even this last game where you basically played with 5 the whole game. And still 228 rush and 210 rush in the last 2 games. That's pretty amazing. Being able to move Ryan Walk over to center and almost feel like you don't miss a beat, people stepping up to the table, and then having 5 guys have to go almost the entire length of a game. You got to be really, really happy with that group.
Certainly, we're proud of those guys, even though they don't want to be told that, because they like not having any type of praise. They have a big chip on their shoulder, but rotating those guys throughout all this practice time during camp, throughout the course of the week, it pays off when things like this happen. They're able to slide into different parts of different spots on that offensive line and perform at a higher level. So there's a lot of improved play. and they'll tell you themselves there's a lot of room for improvement and betterment. And physicality is getting better. Sustaining blocks is getting better. Their IDs have been on point. There's a lot of technical and fundamental stuff that really just continues to grow and get better. Coach Mario, I think he's the best in the country at it, and those guys really, they follow his lead. They're doing a good job.
This is the first game that Travis Dye admittedly said, I got to put this on my shoulders and carry the load now with Verdell out of here. His style of running is hard to describe when we're talking about it. What makes him so difficult to defend? What is it about his style of running?
Well, the thing is, too, now he's a 200-pounder. I mean, he came in at 170 pounds, maybe 175. He's now a 200-pound guy, so he's not a little guy anymore. And so he's durable and he's tough. But he can slash, he can put his head down, he's got great knee drive. All right, now it's contact plus some extra yards when he is hit by a flush tackler. And at the same time, his vision, just so much experience that those lamps that he has, they see things. They understand fronts and stunts and pressures, and they understand that the way things are schemed up and blocked, he can anticipate better now where things should hit. And if it's not there, he finds a way to make it happen. Also, you can't underestimate or undervalue his blocking ability, and not only in protection, but some of the stuff we actually blocked for someone else to run the football and certainly catch the ball to the backfield. Just all in all, a complete performance by him, and he's hungry for more, and he's going to get it.
Byron Cardwell didn't get a ton of carries, but got some really quality ones in this game. And there's nothing like game reps, Coach. You know that, practice versus game. A guy like that being able to do it in a game and start to get a feel. He looked sharp for the small amount of plays he played. He
did. He looked like he belonged. Hit counter, and there was contact. Kept his feet moving. Put us in 2nd and 5. Got split zone where the slider got knocked back and spilled, and he actually got behind that, jump cut it, and hit for a nice gain, and almost scored. So he's done really, really well. He's a talented guy that's really gotten after it this week. Both, Trey is healed up, but still knocking a little bit of the rust off and making sure he's perfectly fine. And Seven's had a great week as well. So we feel really confident in playing all those guys. But for this past game, Byron got those touches. A couple RPOs ended up getting thrown, so he would have had a couple of more. So it shows you what kind of confidence we have in him and the rest of those guys.
You had your offensive coordinator, your OC, was back with you upstairs. So great to see him back. But how much does that help the continuity and the mental aspect of the offense to have that guy back?
Well, it was a big blow. A couple of weeks ago on game day, we had the emergency that we had. And thankfully, everything ended up being okay. But, a very serious situation, and one where it took several days. It wasn't up until, the latter part of last week where Coach was cleared to come back. And he's tough, man. Coach Moore's a tough guy, super high care factor, just found a way to get back in there. And he's been through a lot and is still fighting through that, but getting healthier and healthier every single day. So it means a lot. I think we've all, imagine yourself back in the day you're about to take the field and you're told, hey, by the way, the guy that's been coaching you for the past couple of years, he cannot be here. So those things, you live and you learn, you deal with it, you move forward, you make no excuses, and you find a way.
As much as I want, we'll get a chance to talk a little bit of defense and special teams here in a little bit. So,
in fact, let's get a break and we'll come back and do that. And also get to mention the expansion of the facility that will be coming up at University, stepping up big. That's going to be cool to talk about, too. It's our Coaches Show in our Country Financial Studio. I'm Jerry Allen with Jorgie and the coach, and we're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
It's Looney Tunes versus Goons, and LeBron James is leading the charge in Space Jam: A New Legacy, now available at Redbox. When LeBron and his son are trapped in a digital space, they join the Looney Tunes gang and face a powered-up roster of NBA and WNBA stars on the court. The high-stakes game scores lots of laughs and shines a light on the power of being yourself. Watch Space Jam: A New Legacy and make it a Redbox night. Visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
the ins and outs of all things Ducks. This is Oregon football from Learfield.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the show. Pepsi Coaches Spotlight with Jerry Allen Jorge and our head coach, Mario Cristobal. Coach, I just want to mention it's so new. It just really got released. The University of Oregon has just released plans for a 170,000 square foot indoor practice facility to be built just west of Autzen Stadium between Leo Harris Parkway and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. The announcement today is going to be sort of over where your practice facility is now, but it's going to be mammoth. It's going to be such a great addition for the student athletes at the university, and what a big step up, huh?
Well, it's going to be the ultimate place for development, recovery, you name it, the player lounge. I mean, everything that goes with it. I can't get into too many details, I should say, because there's a lot to it and a lot of planning to go on. But it's another testament to the investment in the student athlete. The student athlete experience, the development of the student athlete at Oregon is just a different level than anywhere else. I know that recruits, parents, prospects, families, they'll all take notice at that here. It's real. It's very serious about the future of the student athlete.
Well, we know that's coming. That's going to be something to look forward to, but we're in the here and now right now. Jorge, you want to talk about the defense a little bit. Your defense is probably not getting the headlines I think that it deserves in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you hold a team 17 points for the game and really 10 after the first drive, as Cal opened up, went down the field, got a touchdown. From that point on, particularly in the first half, very dominating. Second half, a lot of pressure on Garbers, which was the key at the end of the game, very final play, let alone a lot of plays in between your defense. Making it tough on offenses to get in the end zone, having to run a lot of plays to get there.
Yes, sir. We've it's getting adjusted to playing with new pieces. Guys playing by each other over the past several weeks with some of the injuries that we've had has probably been the biggest adjustment for the guys. So you're trying to run a new defense and you're trying to run the entire package, but when the pieces start changing week after week, it's a challenge. So the defensive staff has done a pretty good job of getting those guys to be on the same page and perform at a level where we've been preventing points. Now we don't want to give up as much yardage as we've been giving up. Certainly that's something we don't want. It decreases our play count on the other side of the ball, increases your play count on defense. But there's a lot of things that go into that. All in all, there's some excellent performances, some areas of improvement, just like the offense needs. So, but all in all, again, just looking forward to these guys getting another opportunity now and getting some of these major pieces back together and working together and watching them perform on Saturday.
Not giving up explosion plays. I mean, and sure, a team may have to go on a 12, 13, or 14-play drive to get a score, but if you can make them do that and not give up the explosion play, the chances that they'll make a mistake are much greater, and that's in your favor.
It always is. You certainly want to make sure explosive plays, third down conversions, right? Those things, turnovers. Those are the three factors that always lead to margin of victory, point totals, whatnot. So anytime you can do that on defense, take the ball away, limit the big shots, limit the big runs, you give yourself an opportunity to force the opponent into making a mistake.
As dominating as your defense can sometimes be with Kayvon out there and the pressure he puts on the quarterback and offenses having to come to the line of scrimmage and try to find number 5 and where he is. The first half your defense played without him and really played well, didn't they?
They sure did. It was good to have Braden Swenson back. He had been gone for a long time. It's almost like the guys were making a joke about it. It seems like every time a guy gets a Player of the Week honors, he's out after that. With Bennett, with Braden, Justin Flo, and some of those happening. So to get Braden back certainly helped. But to me, the continued development of Keith Brown, Jeffrey Bassa, those are big improvements. Jamal Hill now really finally feeling at home again, playing at a high level. The corners, McElroy continues to do some really, really good things. Played really well this past game. The interior D-line, with Popo, Keon, Brandon Dorlus has had a tremendous year so far, just doing it in all phases. The run game, play action, convert and run a pass, third down as well. Just a lot of guys playing really good football.
You talked about a moment ago about the new pieces coming in, guys getting used to playing. We hear about fundamentals and teaching guys how to use their hands and their feet and their knees and all parts of their body. But it's that mental aspect of having the confidence that the guy beside you or behind you knows what he's supposed to do, and you work together in rhythm. And until guys work together, that part's missing, isn't it?
It is. It's getting better. It starts with communication. You got to know exactly what the call is, and you got to know what to do, how to do it, why we're doing it that way. And it's important to know what the guy beside you is doing. Like, where is your help, right? How are you going to leverage the ball? It's important because, if you have help outside, well, you can leverage the ball inside out. So things like that are critical in performing at a high level. Great defenses are defined by units that can eliminate mental mistakes and have great communication and then play really, really hard. So we're starting to get closer and closer, to performing, at a higher level. We still have some work to do, and we know that. We haven't been at our best, but we have had some great moments. Mm-hmm. And the consistency is what's the biggest, focal point for us in improving.
We talked real quick during the break about special teams. Again, just to really perform it at a high level. Cam Lewis, Tom Snee, key kickoff return in the fourth quarter that set up that final touchdown to be able to take the lead. Those groups are doing a really, really nice job for you. And coming through big sometimes gets forgotten in a type of situation.
Yeah, it does. It does. But those guys, like you mentioned, they've just been there all year. You feel like their names should be mentioned more often. Mm-hmm. Those are sometimes thankless jobs. Well, we make sure that they feel appreciated because they change the game. Anytime you could flip the field like that, anytime you could put 3 points on the board and then kick the ball out of the end zone and make a team start deeper in their territory, those things make a difference. And it also juices up the entire sideline. Our special teams, the coverage units, the return units, every time we get the ball kicked to us, we feel like we can pop a big play, like we could score. And that has to be considered like an offensive play. Our guys do that. So there's a lot more pride, a lot more execution on special teams. Coach Bobby Williams done a really good job with these guys this year, and we're looking forward to taking another step.
I just want to mention briefly the noise level on Saturday afternoon was ridiculous. I mean, we hear it through our headsets and think that we've turned up the crowd noise, and then we take the headsets off, and it's like, holy cow. And you feel that on the field. The kids feel that on the field.
Without a doubt. I mean, that's what makes one of the things and one of the more prominent things that makes Oregon so different. You look at the West Coast, what is the one place where football is so important, where it's always packed up. Could be a spring game, right? Could be a game during the season. It could be a basketball game. It could be a track event. It's just the affinity, the pageantry surrounding our university, our community, certainly the program now that we're in season, it's different. It's awesome, and it makes a tremendous difference. Like, it is part of the game, and people have to take that into account when they prepare for us. And you see it with certain silent cadences that they have. You see it when tight ends have to put their hands on the hip of the adjacent lineman or tight end so that they can get a feel for when they move, they can move as well and not jump off sides. All those things are important.
That's the noise. Before we let you go, a little bit about your opponent this week, UCLA. To me, it looks like one of your strengths, which is your offensive line and your run game, against one of their strengths, which is their run defense.
Without a doubt, they are top 10 in the country from a run defense standpoint. They are very disruptive. I would say, they bring pressure almost 50% of the time, and you're going to get a pre-snap stem and a post-snap movement 50 to 60% of the time. So it's moving parts all the time. And they'll challenge your IDs as well, try to get you confused. they create free hitters. They create negative plays. A lot of teams end up in 2nd and 12, 2nd and 14, and next thing you know, they're punting the football. They do a great job. They're disruptive. They get after the quarterback. They hit the quarterback. They pressure the quarterback. They affect the passer in all kinds of different ways with the guys up front, with blitzes, with multiple coverages. They disguise it real well. Really good defense.
Top 10 team going to the Rose Bowl. The nation's going to be watching this one. So that's why you love it, isn't it?
That's why you come to Oregon.
That's why you come to Oregon. I love it, Coach.
Right.
We're going to let you go. Right now, you could be diagramming plays or doing something to help you win this game. We're keeping you from that, and I feel terrible about that, so we'll let you go.
I appreciate you guys having me. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the plane. Let's go Ducks.
Let's go do it.
Let's go
Coach Mario Cristobal back with more. Joey's got some players to hear from as we continue our Coaches Show on this Wednesday night here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We weren't going to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a matter of fact, how did we not lose? Hey, we're not losing, so let's
go do it.
This episode of the Mighty Oregon Podcast, presented by Oregon Community Credit Union, is a special edition with guest host and longtime voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen. Jerry sits down with Duck great Dave Wilcox, examining his early farm life in rural Oregon, his time with the Ducks, and how he became one of the most intimidating defensive forces in NFL history.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 15 convenient locations across Portland, contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
More Jerry, Jorgie, and Joey after this timeout. You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. Jerry Allen, Jorgie, and Joey Mac joins us now to talk to some players, and we got to hear from Travis Dye. I mean, I just read this again. 218 all-purpose yards against Cal. First Pac-12 player since 2016 to have 140 yards rushing and 70 receiving. I hope I didn't steal something from you there, but that's a guy who said, I just lost my running mate. What can I do for you?
And he's the second player since 2000 in an Oregon uniform to do it.
That's just crazy.
I mean, that just tells you something about how good Travis Dye has been. And actually, I don't know if Jerry knew this, but we're going to hear from Travis Dye first because, I thought, hey, let's start with something that's kind of fun. What's it like scoring a touchdown, Travis Dye?
There's no other feeling like it, especially in Autzen Stadium. It's so just gratifying. It's everything in one. It's all emotions just all hitting you at once, and it's what it means to be human, I believe, and like just hitting that end zone and just feeling that energy. It's crazy.
How about that? That's just cool to hear from a guy who scored a few, and boy, did he put the team on his back against Cal. Now, everybody, myself included, we were all wondering what that rotation was going to look like behind him. As Coach Cristobal just mentioned, Byron Cardwell is the guy that got those carries. Well, Travis Dye was talking a little bit about Byron Cardwell and also Trey Benson. Pretty exciting stuff here from Travis Dye on the younger running backs.
Man, I'm excited to see Trey just go. Both of them, Trey and Byron, just go. Just show the world what you can do, because I already know what they can do, but it's time for them to show the world and time for them just to go.
Go. Jerry, I just want you to go. Okay?
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
And that's going to be a theme that you'll hear a little bit later on, okay? So bear with us. So now how about the guys that are blocking for those running backs? Stephen Jones. Ducks know that they've had some injuries to deal with along that offensive line. And, well, Stephen Jones, though, said that the chemistry is actually pretty darn good along that offensive line.
I think our chemistry-wise, since we're all really a tight-knit group, whenever someone comes in, we just know we got to be able to communicate with whoever's next to us and whoever lines up across from us. So when we have a bunch of guys rotating, I feel like it's good for all of us, one, because then that's more film for each one of us to actually get in there and get some playing time. And two, you know how the partner next to you works. So you know whenever he's in, okay, this is how I'm going to do my blocks whenever I'm working with him. Or if a new guy comes in, okay, this is what we're going to do whenever he comes in. So the rotation part, it hasn't really affected us because we've already been working together for this whole entire year. So it just is what it is.
Talk with Coach Mario all the time about how he likes to rotate guys along that offensive line. It's exactly what Stephen Jones is talking about. But unfortunately, they have had to embrace next duck up. And as Jorgie mentioned with Coach Cristobal, Oregon's still running the ball pretty darn well, even without Alex Forsythe, who's really playing the center. He's the general of that offensive line, and the quarterback gets a lot of credit for being the general of the offense. But, man, he doesn't work well without that lieutenant that's the center in front of him. Ducks haven't had Alex Forsythe. They've had to embrace next duck up, says Stephen Jones.
Biggest memo that we be saying in the O-line room is next man up, because offensive line play and defensive line play is a physical sport. People are going to get hurt. People are going to get injured. So that means that if a dude goes down, you better be ready to get in there. And as you can see last week, I feel like we did a really good job handling that. When Alex couldn't play, we just threw Ryan at center, and then we just went from there. So I'm excited, though. If Alex plays this week, which I think he will, we're just going to, whoever's in there, get to work and get after the UCLA. So.
Well, there you go. And Ryan Walk did do a nice job filling in. And Stephen Jones, man, it's been fun to watch that guy develop. And Jorgie, I mean, they have run the ball well, right?
Yeah, and you got to run the ball. You have to be able to run the ball.
I thought I could get him there, everybody. Don't worry, I will get him to go all in on you have to run the ball a little bit later on. One guy that has helped with blocking on the edge for some of those big run plays actually really enjoys blocking. And we talked about this in the wide receiver room with Johnny Johnson earlier this year. Well, Jalen Red with a quote that I think will make all of you not just laugh, but love rooting for this guy when he blocks somebody on the outside.
For me, when it comes to blocking, I just like to put my face on people. So it's like whenever I feel like I could put my face and put my hands on you, I like that part of the game, that physical. I like looking at a dude after I hit him. So whenever that type of stuff happens, man, I just appreciate the opportunity.
So Jorgie and Jerry, when I'm blocking you, I like to put my face in you. I like to put my face in people.
Great.
That might have been the quote of the day.
Especially when you're laying on your back, right?
That's right. That's right. Jalen Red, though, you got to love that competitiveness and that fire on the outside. The Ducks have done a nice job blocking. And, well, look, we all know, those of us that were at Autzen Stadium, you were listening, you were watching, you could hear it. The Boo Birds were out at times. And Jalen Red was asked about that. And I thought that he gave a really nice answer to a question about how do you react when the fans boo?
Really, I just wanted to keep him quiet. I didn't really like that energy, you know what I mean? We always want to keep positive vibes. I love my QB. Even if he make mistakes, it is what it is. I think he can overcome whatever. So when it's kind of we in our place and everybody around us, this kind of environment, and we supposed to be at home, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say disrespectful, but I feel bad. I almost feel bad for the man, you know what I mean? So it's like, at the same time, we all one, we all a team. You got to lift us up. So that's really what I just try to do.
I thought that was a great answer to a tough question from one of the veterans on this team in Jalen Red. And look, Anthony Brown got asked about it too. And Anthony Brown knows that he can play better. He said this week, and he said he wants to play more consistently. But he's played really darn well in the fourth quarter. And fans, I hope that you're watching that, because he sure did respond. And boy, did he play well in that fourth quarter. And he was asked about how he handles those boos.
Honestly, focus on what you can control. They're not in here with us every day. I get their fans, and they have a right to whatever they want to say, their opinions and stuff like that. But they're not with us every day. They're not working with us every day, and ultimately we can't worry about that. We have to worry about what we can handle, control what we can control, and just keep progressing.
What the Ducks are worried about is progressing and then getting ready for this matchup with UCLA. And talking about Anthony Brown, again, consistency. I think that's been the biggest thing that he's still looking for in his game. And the entire offense is that way. And as Coach Cristobal mentioned just a little while ago on the show, quarterback's going to be the one that has that spotlight on him when things don't go well. And honestly, when things go right. Well, one thing that went right was the fourth quarter for the Ducks, and Travis Dye had some great things to say about Anthony Brown. I think some of these are reasons that Anthony does so well in that fourth quarter.
Oh, AB, he's such a great leader for this offense. He knows how to, really rally the guys up. And he was just talking about, how we're going to punch it in the end zone. This is our drive. This is it right here. And, just for somebody to, to have that much pressure on him and to have that kind of pressure on him and for him to just be so calm, cool, and collective and lead our offense, it's wonderful to see.
Similarly, Jalen Redd talking about what Anthony Brown does well, and it's not just on the field. Some of it is off the field, too.
I see a whole different side of this game. I'm actually in this circle, so the guy that I see is a whole different guy. Like I said, he texts us, all the receivers, all the tight end, make sure we all together, extra catches before practice, after practice. It's just different elite things that he do as a vet quarterback that I just appreciate to the fullest. Not everybody's going to see that, but I understand it. But just because he makes mistakes, he's a quarterback, you know what I mean? He has the highest position. All the eyes is on him. So it is what it is, you know what I mean?
Jalen Redd, I think, with very honest answers to a lot of questions out there today and taking you behind the curtain of what it's like for some of those pass catchers working with their leader of their offense. Anthony Brown also had some great things to say on the flip side about Jalen Redd, and this rivals Jalen himself for the best quote of the week.
Jalen Redd's heart is the size of Andre the Giant. His heart does not match the size he is on the field, and it's incredible playing with him. He's a Swiss Army knife, and he does not care who you are, how big you are, how fast, strong you may think you are. In his mind, he's better than you, stronger than you, and bigger than you. So, love playing with him, and I've been saying that since I got here. He's probably one of my favorite people to watch play football here.
There you go. Jalen Redd, Swiss Army knife, heart as big as Andre the Giant. Pretty good things to say about a guy who has made some big plays in his career for Oregon. Finally, talking about the offense, what do they think of this UCLA defense? Anthony Brown asked about the Bruins.
It's chaos. They bring a lot of things, and you really have to key into what they bring and what comes with it. Very physical defense, very physical defensive line, very active in the secondary, especially at linebacker. And they're a really good defense. They're coached well, and they play really hard. So we've been preparing for all the looks that we can possibly get and just honing in on them. So
they stunt a lot, they blitz a lot, and Coach Cristobal said that you just have to really be disciplined and execute your assignment offensively when you're blocking a defense like that. We got more to come talking about the defense next year.
Okay, it's hard not to talk about that booing. I could spend a whole half hour telling you why you shouldn't. They're your kids. You would never boo your kids and all of that. I guess that's the one thing about the games that if I could change, I would. Nothing else, just that one thing. Respect. Respect all the time. All the time. All right, let's go away, come back. I want to hear from some more of these young guys because they are sure fun to listen to. Great job by Joey Mac. Let's do that after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
It's Looney Tunes versus Goons, and LeBron James is leading the charge in Space Jam: A New Legacy, now available at Redbox. When LeBron and his son are trapped in a digital space, they join the Looney Tunes gang and face a powered-up roster of NBA and WNBA stars on the court. The high-stakes game scores lots of laughs and shines a light on the power of being yourself. Watch Space Jam: A New Legacy and make it a Redbox night. Visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Elevate the standard. This is Ducks football from Learfield.
These are the sounds of a dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America. 200 food banks strong.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio Coaches Show on this Wednesday night. UCLA coming up this weekend, and is it a 12:30 game too? Holy cow!
Get out the sunscreen.
Oh my! Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Well, hey, let's get back to some players. I'm loving some of the comments from these young men that are beyond their years when it comes to speaking to the media. It's special.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by the 12:30, 69 degrees and sunny.
Yeah.
Thinking about that. Yes, they are. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
They are special young men. One of them who made his return in the second half against Cal is Kayvon Thibodeaux. And, hey, he got asked about the development of this defense. Halfway through the year, where are the Ducks at? Developmentally, what do you think, KT?
No, I feel like we got a lot more in the tank. I feel like we still haven't played our best football. And we're still preparing. We still got to get better. It's only the midway through the season, so we feel like, if we want to really take that next jump, we just got to continue to grow.
We have not seen Kayvon Thibodeaux in an entire football game this year. Almost made it all the way through the Stanford game, but still have not seen him in an entire football game this year. That's made it tough to build chemistry.
Yeah, I feel like there's been, inconsistent, really first team, which makes it kind of hard to really gel together and build that team chemistry. So having to plug a lot of different guys in has kind of messed up the chemistry that we had going into the season. But I feel like, moving forward, us being back and even the younger guys stepping up has really been contributing to it.
And I think that's the key, right? Some of those younger guys that have stepped in for game reps, now they're a little bit more up to speed, and the Ducks are maybe the deepest that they've been all year defensively. One of those guys coming back, Braden Swenson. He actually said that he tore his meniscus in the Ohio State game, ended up having to play through it. What toughness, right? Had to get knee surgery, and now he's working his way back. Was on a limited snap count, but now feeling pretty darn good. And he talked about what it's been like going through all these injuries on the defense.
Yeah, you miss guys that get hurt. You don't want anybody on your team to get hurt. But when it comes to somebody going down, you can't prevent injuries. So you got to have the next man up mentality. But having some of the guys back, it just really feels like, man, you just feel like a little breath, like a little release, like relaxing, So other than that, we just working right now. That's all we're really doing. We're just working, and I'm proud of the guys and how everybody who was hurt are coming back from rehabbing, just like how I did. So everybody that's recovering, they're on the fast pace to come back, and I can't wait to see them back out there.
Braden Swenson, just an absolute ball of energy, and he also gave a big-time shout-out to the entire training staff at Oregon, who I feel like I could say this every year and on every show that we do. Those guys do not get enough credit for what they do behind the scenes. That's one of the teams behind all the teams around the University of Oregon and really all of athletics in general. That was Braden Swenson. And then getting those pass rushers back, I asked Triquez Bridges what it was like on the outside when you get that kind of a pass rush. What's it like having all the pass rushers back?
That feels so good. It's so good, because it takes the quarterback eyes away from the receivers a lot more, because he feel the pressure, so he just have to step in the pocket or move around. But with those guys, they kill the whole operation. So it's amazing having them back.
Now let's go back to those pass rushers. Kayvon Thibodeaux was talking about his leadership and what he did when he was banged up, because, again, haven't seen him for an entire game. What do you do? Talking about
it's definitely harder, but, being a guy who knows the ins and outs of the game, I'm able to even see it even more on the sideline. So being able, during the game when they come out to the sideline, giving them the tips and giving them the tricks that'll help them. And even in practice, kind of walking people through more stuff that they would need, if need be, I'm not there.
And now Braden Swenson, of course, you're going to learn a lot from a guy like Kayvon Thibodeaux that might just be the best player in the country. What do you learn from KT?
Watching pass rush from KT, watching KT pass rush, he do different stuff all the time. So, you never know what to expect. But, just seeing him and his pass rush moves and how he just switch it up and can also beat you with speed and then beat you with power, it's just like you just see different moves that you can use. And then, watching that, you can just apply it to your game, too. So, it's just a lot of stuff. Just a lot of stuff you can add on to it.
One more time, we're going to look back before we finish up looking ahead. How about that epic goal line stand? Look, the reason that the Ducks were successful, they practiced those things. And Braden Swenson talked about what it's like being in those pressure situations.
Every day in practice, we practice those situations of having, like, our back against the wall and pressure. So at that moment, I feel like I seen that moment every day in practice that I practice. So it's just like another play for me. So just repeating myself, repetition after just stacking reps, just doing that same play that we worked on in practice. And then it came game time, I was ready for that same exact play.
Now going on the road, the Ducks have drilled more and more. They're ready for this UCLA team. Said that the 2 padded practices this week, today and yesterday, were really, really good. But now they got to figure out how to pack that up and take it on the road. Winning on the road's tough, particularly in this conference. Turquoise Bridges, what's going to take to win on the road?
Just bring your toughness, your physicality, discipline, and just play ball. We do everything in practice. We do a lot of adjustments. We reload plays. Just to expect anything coming. So when it comes to game day, we just want to play free.
Travis Dye said that he just wants the young running backs to go. Turquoise Bridges says he just wants everybody to play free. That's what happens when the game slows down for you, and I feel like a lot of those young guys are getting to that point on both sides of the ball for the Ducks. That's what it's going to take to be successful down at UCLA. Play with some confidence.
Yeah, I like the idea that they're kind of coming back together again, and that familiarity, huh?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, I can't wait to see this group continue their growth as they come back together as a complete group, because that chemistry when you play together all the time is so much better than if you've got bits and pieces of it and it's beginning to come together as a whole.
All right, let's get out of here one final time, come back and wrap it up and get you ready for Oregon UCLA Saturday, and we'll do that here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the studio, our Country Financial studio. I'm going to set when do you have to get up? Saturday morning to be there for the 10:30 pregame show. We need to get up at what time?
5.
5?
That's when Terry gets up. I get up when Terry gets up.
Well, it'll give us time for breakfast and coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. Get to game day maybe?
We're going to be there by 6, aren't we?
Probably.
Yeah.
Game day's on campus, though. It's not at the Rose Bowl.
Oh, not at the Rose Bowl. No, that's
it's on campus.
Oh, well.
Hey, Oregon Volleyball is at UCLA on Friday night, too, at 7 o'clock.
Crazy. What time?
It's Beat UCLA week, 7 o'clock.
Can we get there? Maybe we could.
I already looked it up.
Okay.
We got plans.
We'll talk. All right. Just finding a way. That's what I love about this football team. They just find a way, and they're getting healthier. And this is a great matchup between Oregon and UCLA, two teams that are very similar. So I can't wait.
Yeah. Similar offenses, similar defenses, great players on both sides, well coached, a lot of talent. Should be a fun game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think this is one that everybody, you go 1-0, but in preseason, I think this might have been one that people had circled as two of the better teams in the conference.
No doubt about it. Hey, good to have you back on the Toyota sideline mic this week, too.
I hope so.
We missed you.
Thanks.
Talk to you on Saturday morning at 10:30. Bye-bye. God bless everybody.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.